Happy Wednesday. It's getting scary out here in these streets. Sometimes it's only make you look around and wish the God that you're not rich, that you're not famous, that you're not popular enough to get sued on a regular basis. So last night I'm on my way to bed. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, whatever. And I see it and I said, Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry over the course of the last 20 plus years has done so many great things for the movie community, but the black community, as far as giving people opportunity to work for a fair or better than fair wage, as far as getting acting jobs. And even though you may not necessarily, or maybe I might not necessarily care for a lot of the movies, although I was a huge fan of the Medea series, you can't underestimate what he's done for people, loaning his private jet out to families that needed transportation in times of death or transporting people's loved ones, different things like that. He's done more than his fair share of being a great, accountable, helping, giving human being. So when I see something like what I saw today that everybody's reporting on, that a Derek Dixon, who acted slightly in, I think, one of his shows, Reckless or Ruthless, I don't know, something I've never seen, and The Oval, briefly, it starts to worry me because the guy posted some of the interactions as far as text messaging that him and Tyler Perry engaged in. And from what I could see, as long as those texts are credible from both him and Tyler Perry, is that there was slight flirtations going on, slight to moderate flirtations going on from Perry's side to him. But $260 million, a $260 million lawsuit, because he's attempting to sue for unwanted, what do you call it? Advances, I guess. And he claims that on one occasion he was at Tyler Perry's house and that he drank too much. And it's funny how with all of these cases, it becomes a consensual adult either imbibing too much alcohol or doing too much drugs. And now they don't know what's going on, and they find themselves in a precarious situation. So he happened to be in one of, I guess, Tyler Perry's rooms. Once again, like I always tell you, because I get it from offline, and you can as well. He's in one of the guest rooms after drinking too much at Tyler Perry's home. I don't know if it was the LA one or Atlanta one. He allegedly, Tyler Perry gets in the bed and starts rubbing his thighs. The guy didn't want the advance, so he decided to, Tyler Perry then left. So there was no further, whatever. Tyler Perry also was paying him for the minimal role that he had, $10,000, and I think to kind of allegedly hush him or stay in his good graces, because Tyler Perry, from this man's accord, says Tyler Perry really was pursuing him heavily. Said that they bumped his salary up from $10,000 an episode to $19,000 per episode, which was considered a huge boost or spike for someone in that role, especially as a limited role. Gentlemen, it's a couple of things, because now we really have to learn what's going on, and because a lot of us are not worth a reported $1.4 billion that Tyler Perry is worth, we still have to be aware and be alert. Be aware and be alert. Because a lot of times when you are the rich, when you are the powerful, and even if you're not rich, but when you maintain some type of power, even in a sector, if you happen to be somebody's boss right now, you may be a nurse at a job and you have techs working under you. Well, if things go awry, especially if you're a charge nurse or viewed to be in a supervisory or managerial position, you can be fired and or sued and taken to court, because you will be considered a superior. The same way this is with Tyler Perry, because so the guy is suing Tyler Perry personally, and he's suing Tyler Perry Studios. So because Tyler Perry essentially was his boss, he is taking this to make it seem as if he was receiving unwarranted advances, and he was not wanting to participate in it, because they haven't said. I'm assuming that this gentleman is gay, but they haven't come out and said yet what he is. So the thing I say is that why'd you keep coming around? You know, at a certain point, we have to start having accountability, even with the criminal justice system. We have to start having accountability with how we look at these cases, because they're starting to seem all too familiar, where there's a person who is a victim. And once again, like we always say, if there really is a victim in these cases, please make sure these guys go to jail. But when these shakedowns of these rich people, and when I'm starting to see a lot of rich African American men, it's starting to get a little ridiculous to me. And it's starting to become worrisome to me, because I really think that it almost feels like there's something else at play. And I don't really get into conspiracy theory as far as that's concerned, because I do. Because I want to look at it from this point of where you have people always, and we all need to look at that, is people coming out and trying to get certain things that you have. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Desmond, today. Same thing with, we talk about just different things, how, even on a lower level, people sometimes want certain things, or they're looking for certain things that you may have. Maybe they need a $50 Cash App here. Maybe they need $100 there. Maybe they just need, whatever here. Certain things that all men have to go through, as far as, getting Cash Apps from friends or different people that may need money from you, or requests that from people that, or family members that may need money from you. And, a lot of us try to accommodate and help out as much as we can. But the on the flip side of it, men, it's unfortunate, but now we live in a situation in a society where even if it's consensual, it turns into sometimes an issue. Where now consensual stuff, the line's starting to get blurred. Where it's like, if a person goes to court on you, you don't know what's what. You don't know who's who. So it would make us have to start practicing more D-discipline. Something that I've talked about before, something that I know that we definitely need to do. You're going to have to start practicing more D-discipline. You're also going to have to start practicing more T-discipline. T, text message discipline. There has to be more text message discipline. You don't have to keep every picture that a young lady may send you, especially if you're in a situation. You don't need to keep every salacious text or whatever, especially if you're in a situation. And also, you better be mindful of what you're sending to people. You better be mindful of what you're saying to people in these text messages. Because what this guy did, because of course, anybody could claim anything, but what this guy did is that, what did he do? The same thing like with in the Shannon Sharpe situation. The same thing like what we see that's going on in the P. Diddy situation. He released a bunch of text messages. And like I was saying to you, from appearance, the text messages would say, hey, listen, Tyler Perry was coming at his neck. In my estimation, still nothing that should rise to the level of somebody suing you. But of course, in America, you can sue anybody for anything. When in reality, to me, there should be like a tiered system where some of this stuff, if it looks ridiculous, no, this cannot be brought to trial. We will find a mediator. We will find whatever. This cannot be brought to trial. And then if it comes out in the public, especially if you're a public figure, if it comes out, hey, listen, trial, whatever is off the table. If we find that it came from your camp, because was Tyler Perry, from what I get, probably attracted to the guy? That's what it seems to be by the text messaging. So Tyler Perry has to take accountability for that portion of it. But wow, $260 million for some text messages? Oh, well, he got in the bed with him. He's such and such and such and such. Excuse me, for me. This is just a guy me. Okay, as a straight guy. I'm not going over another guy's house. Okay? Spending the night, we're drinking, spending the night, ain't no women around. Okay? Or ain't no women that I'm going, because, hey, listen, I'm telling y'all, if I'm hanging out with Tyler Perry, any of these boys that got millions, got all that money, hey, listen, I know I got to be some fine women there. And hey, look, I'm that new actor on the Oval. Yo, come over here, shorty. Or we rolling out. Or if Tyler did come into the room, he gonna see me with a lady. So he comes into the room, you're in there by yourself. He, gropes you or whatever you said he did, touched your thighs, but then you still continue the friendship after that point. I'm thinking to myself, are the bad guys or the people that's out to manipulate, are they getting smarter or are the smart people getting dumber? Because there's no way on earth to me, either one of them put themselves in this situation. And it's unfortunate because, with these richer, famous people, they can obviously get whomever they want to an extent until it's the one that maybe they couldn't get, or maybe they chose to turn on them, or maybe they've had enough. But what we have to do is, and I think we have to start extrapolating knowledge from these situations and saying, you know what? How am I looking at my life? How am I doing things as far as, let me look at my phone. What am I texting? What am I sexting? Because just because you can't get sued for $260 million doesn't mean you still can't get brought up on charges. Think about that. Just because you can't get sued for an exorbitant amount of money does not mean that you still can't get brought up on charges. Or you can still be put in a situation where it looks like you're a creep. So until we hear more anything else, I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I would just say going forward with anybody, and of course, we got to wait to see if Manny, Mo, and Jack and all these other people come out to say, oh, yeah, Tyler did this to me. Tyler did that to me. And like I said, if this is the extent of it, we gotta really work on our criminal justice system. Some things have to change because there's just no way on earth that this should even be brought to light. The guy gave you a job and paid you almost $20,000 an episode. If he did something wrong to you, touched you inappropriately, did something to make you not want to be there, you can't go back, man. You can't go back and still collect the check and do all this other stuff or whatever it was, 10,000, whatever. You have to be mindful of what you're doing. But that's how mean and how callous people are. You'll still go back to somebody when you know most likely your thing is a money grab. Like that's the kind of sick place we live in now. So now, if it's proven that Tyler Perry really didn't do anything wrong, his reputation is now sullied. Another black guy, another powerful, positive black guy's reputation is sullied. So, to all my future successful rich black guys out there, and white ones too, and Asian and Latino and anything else, two things. D-discipline. Text discipline. Mind discipline. But hey, you tell me what you think. So, but until next time, what'd you say? Yeah, live life. Don't let life live you.